Hello, my peeps. This Algebra Nation video will cover the right side of page 49, 7 squared, if you are cool with your exponents like Mr. Phillips. Problem number 7. Don't cry like this guy, 'cause you can pass the EOC in May and have moves like these guys the behind the back no look pass. That's how you jam on the EOC if you pay attention to the Algebra Nation videos.
All right, let's take a look at this next question. So we have Johnny Depp, and Johnny Depp spent way too much money on pirate costumes, and now his Pirates of the Caribbean fund is empty, which is really sad. He started off with $5,000, which is a lot of money to spend, and each dirty, smelly costume that he wears costs $250. He bought 14 costumes, and any extra money that he had, any remaining money, he obviously spent on fake parrots, because that's clearly what Johnny Depp would do. Write an equation that represents the amount that Johnny Depp spent on fake parrots, and then solve that amount. So before we think about this, let's address what we're given in this problem. So he's got an amount of money, right? He's got $5,000. And from that $5,000, he's going to spend some of it on pirate costumes and some of it on fake parrots. So let's see what that looks like. He has a total amount of money. And what is he going to spend it? He's going to spend that on pirate costumes. So the total amount of money that he has is the amount spent on pirate costumes plus the amount spent on fake parrots, right? If you take the amount of money that he spends on parrots plus the amount of money that he spends on pirate costumes, that needs to equal to the total amount of money that he has, which is $5,000. So our total amount of money that we're starting off with, Johnny Depp is starting off with $5,000. That's the total amount that he has to spend. So we know that $5,000 has got to be equal to the amount that he spends on pirate costumes plus the amount he spends on fake parrots. Well, how much does he spend on pirate costumes? How much does he spend on pirate costumes? Well, each one costs $250. So if he buys one pirate costume, he spends $250. If he buys two pirate costumes, it's 250 times 2, which would be 500. If he buys 5 pirate costumes, each one of them costs $250. 250 times 5 would be the total amount spent. So $250 times the number of parrot costumes is the total amount of money of pirate costumes. So $250 times the number of pirate costumes is equal to the total amount of money that he's spending on pirate costumes. Let's see what we get now. The amount spent on fake parrots. The amount spent on fake parrots. Well, do we know how much each fake parrot costs? No. Do we know how many we're going to do? No. So let's just call that amount, the amount that he spends on fake parrots, P. So the amount that he spends on pirate costumes is 250 times the number of costumes, and the amount that he spends on fake parrots is just P. So how would we figure out the amount that he spends on fake parrots? Well, that would just be getting P by itself, right? So how do you get P by itself? Well, there's this 250C attached to it. How do you get rid of that? Right, this is a positive, so the opposite of addition, the inverse of addition, is subtraction. So we're going to subtract 250C. Whenever I do to one side of my equal sign, I'm going to do the other. Let's see what I get. Can we combine these? I have $5,000, and I have $250 per costume. These are not like terms. We need to keep those separate. So we have 5,000 minus 250C is equal to what? Well, these cross out, and we're left with P. So we can rewrite this in the other direction. We could write P is equal to 5,000 minus 250C. These two equations mean the same exact thing. You're just switching what's on each side of the equal sign. So now that we have an equation for the amount of money that is spent on parrot costumes, so P is the amount of money spent on our fake parrots, how do we solve for that? Well, remember we were told in our problem the number of costumes that he bought is 14. We are told that C is equal to 14. So we're just going to plug that value in. So we're solving for the amount of money that he spent on parrots, and that's equal to 5,000 minus 250 times our number of costumes, which is 14. Well, let's see what we get. We get P is equal to 5,000 minus 250 times 14. 3,500, 3,500. So the amount that he's spending on parrots is equal to $5,000 minus that $3,500 that he spent on his pirate costumes. He has $1,500 left over to spend on parrots. So we had Johnny Depp. He started off with $5,000, right? He's got $5,000. He bought 14 costumes. Well, those 14 costumes cost him how much money? Well, each costume costs $250. So the 14 of them cost 14 times 250. He spent $3,500 on pirate costumes, which is a lot of money. So if he started with $5,000 and he spent $3,500 on pirate costumes, how much does he have left over? That amount that he has left over is what he's going to spend on parrots. So 5,000 minus 3,500 gave us the amount that he has to spend on those fake parrots, and we get 1,500. All right, guys, good job on that question.
See? Now you're that much smarter. So you won't look like this guy and get a 398 on your EOC.